Welcome to an all-new episode of the Granny Panty Podcast, where we highlight women over 40 in the adult industry and beyond. I'm your host, RubyLynne, and as always, I would love for you to subscribe, like, share, comment on my videos. It's much appreciated. I am super excited about my guest today. She is iconic, legendary in the adult industry. Let me welcome Christy Canyon. Hello, Christy.
I'm great. And it's Canyon, not Cannon.
Okay, Canyon.
Like Laurel Canyon, Coldwater Canyon. But you know what? I've heard every version. Chrissy Cannons. But it is Canyon. But thank you. Now, I'm honored to be on your podcast. You said that you looked into my body of work before the show.
I sure did. Go ahead.
I just want to know though, like you and I are about the same age. You're a little younger. Did you watch adult films in the 80s and the 90s when they were truly films? Were you a film?
I did. Actually, a funny short story is that when I was younger, like 18, 19 years old in the mid 80s, my dream was always to be a stripper. When I was in high school, I said, I want to be a stripper or I want to be a lawyer or a DJ, one of those. And so I always did have this obsession, I think, with porn. And part of it came from low self-esteem and low image. I used to be about 100 pounds overweight and my entire life until I hit about 38. And so, yes, I did. And in fact, when I met my current partner, I had more porn than he did. So there you go.
My God, that's so funny. Now, you know what's so funny is in today's world, do people really have a porn collection? Or is it all just on their phone or a zip drive? Like back then, when someone said I have a porn collection, you had VHS tapes, you had beta tapes. Like now then it went to DVDs and laser discs for a minute. Like you truly had a tangible collection.
Yes. And I think it has evolved to where it's all online now. I think people, probably older adults, more mature ones, do have all the DVDs. I still have my DVDs that I had purchased. But yeah, I do definitely think that it's kind of progressed or proceeded to all online. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think DVDs are fading out and it will be all online, which is kind of a shame though, because back in the day, it was such an event to watch a porn. You had to get in your car, you had to go drive to the local mom and pop video store. Like I kind of miss the day when you had to work a little bit harder for something. Everything is so easy now, which I guess is great in one way. I'm not complaining really, but it's just almost too easy to get now. I like the era when you had to work for something.
Right.
And go to the polling booths and stand in line. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You had to like work to get your vote in. You had to work to go rent your porn, and then Be Kind Rewind was always on it. So, but it's just life is just, we're not in the 80s anymore. These new kids in the business, 18-year-old kids and older, they're so into technology. I don't get it at all. I am so bad at technology.
It's definitely a learning process. I know for myself, just getting into this industry, going on 3 years, holy cow, like I never had a clue what I would need to learn just to start camming, live web camming. So yeah, I get it. So one of the things I thought was interesting when I was kind of looking at your history, and you can confirm if this is correct or not, but when you got into the business, part of your story that I read was that you were literally waiting for a bus and someone drove up and talked to you about modeling. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got into the industry?
It actually, it's so funny because it's like there's truth in so many of these stories. It wasn't a bus I was waiting for. Back in the day, I had an MG midget, if you remember those little cute that never worked. And I was waiting for my girlfriend to pick me up, and I lived on Orchid and Franklin, something like that in Hollywood. And
Mhm.
and this really cute guy pulls up in like the Trans Am with the gold eagle on the hood,
Ooh.
the T-tops and the sheepskins, and so that. And he was in the business, and he's like, "Oh, if you ever want to do figure modeling, here's the card." And I'm like, "Hands? What does that even mean? Figure modeling?"
Right.
But then, like 2 months later, I was broke. The MG finally, I think the engine blew up, and I was like, "Well, I'll just do a few films. I'll
Mhm.
just do a couple to kind of like." Pay off my bills, pay rent for a few, and then here I
Right.
am 38 years later. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise that MG was always broken.
They say everything happens for a reason.
And I got to tell you, I have had a wonderful long career in this business and still work it. The OnlyFans and the conventions. Like I am what we used to call a lifer. Ginger Lynn, Amber
Mhm.
Lynn, Nina
Right.
Hartley finally quit. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it. You just have to jump on the next lily pad of what the next fad is.
That is for sure. And since you like started in, I mean, pre-DVD almost, I mean, probably VHS tapes. I know that's, some of the stuff I have is on VHS, but tell me about what you're currently doing. I saw that you have a website, but are you also on OnlyFans?
I am definitely a big presence on OnlyFans. Um, just the various sites out there. It's the
Mhm.
first time that I've worked from home. It's the
Mhm.
first time that my phone is my lead way into my business. It's weird, like, because I was used to going on sets, and then I was on
Right.
Sirius XM for 18 years, and I always went to the studio. Like, this is the first time that I'm an at-home worker, which
Mhm.
is great, though, but it's just the way of the world. Your phone, that's your business for the most part.
Right, right. And so are you shooting in all for any studios anymore or all self-produced?
All self-produced. You know what? I was a Vivid girl for 8, 9 years. Before that, I worked for everybody in the 80s.
Mhm.
Just feel like, why work for a studio when you can own your content for the first time? I mean,
Yes.
when I was with Vivid, I got a royalty. So at least I
Mhm.
made money off each tape sold and DVD sold. Um, but like, I do it because I love it. I don't do it
Yeah.
because, oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent? Or,
Right.
I'm not 18, but I genuinely love it. I mean, and you could work at your own pace. I might not work for 3 days, and then
Mhm.
one day I wake up and go, God, I'm fucking horny. Hey, I'm going to shoot content for OnlyFans. Like, why kill two birds with one stone kind of a thing? So I just have to, you just, being in this business for almost 40 years, you just have to
Yep.
catch the next wave and see what that brings us. And
Yes,
OnlyFans
yes.
is the absolute, way right now. Who knows? It might last a day. It might last 10 years. You just have
Right.
to, you just have to go with the flow. And there'll
That
be
is
something
true.
else. There'll be something else that takes its place if that ever folds, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing I've definitely learned in my 3 years in this business is you really have to be able to punt and kick, I call it. It's like, okay, well, this either isn't working or this site has went down or something gets shut down. It's like you've got to be on top of it to just be able to pivot to the next thing. The studio work, I totally understand that. I shot for a studio once and man, that content is everywhere. I use a DMCA service and it's like every week. That is the most, I don't know, stolen content, of course, which I have no control over that. I can't even do a takedown because I don't own it. So that was definitely different.
Yeah, it just, I love the studios. I mean, obviously the ones that I worked with are fewer around. Evil
Mhm.
Angel, very maybe one or two. But I do it because I love it. So if I do it because I
Mhm.
love it, why not own it? And that way, every time it sells, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, that kind
Yes.
of. I mean, if I was a new girl in the business, I would definitely work for the studios to get your name out there. But if your name's already out there, like an Abella Danger or Riley Reed,
Mhm.
you don't really have to work for the studios.
Right, right. And that's why I did it too, is definitely to get that experience. I mean, there's nothing like being on set. I mean, it's awesome.
Oh,
I loved it.
it was like I did a cameo recently for Wicked, which is now owned by Adult Time. And
Mhm.
Axel Braun, just one of the greatest directors, was the director. And it was so fun to be on a set. It was so
Yeah.
fun, the craft, like a true blue old school porn set where they have a craft table services. They, take your order for lunch, uh, hair and makeup, quiet on the set. Like I I love that feeling. It's in my
Yes.
blood. It's such a great fun feeling.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I hope to do some more studio work. I know for the MILF, segment, which is where I fit in the MILF GILF. There's not as much opportunity, but I'm still pushing for it.
It's amazing though how so many. I remember years ago, when I was on radio, I interviewed Nina Hartley, and she was like, "Christy, the MILF gave me a whole new life form in the business, like and then the
Yes.
Pixies gave me a whole new push, like she's like, it's amazing how it's always evolving and doing something different, and I keep jumping on the next
Mhm.
bandwagon."
Yes. Yes, for sure. So, tell me, I know we're about the same age. How do you keep in shape? What's your secret? I mean, you look amazing. I mean, you are just iconic, legendary. So, what's your secret?
I don't really have one. I do yoga maybe twice a week. I just
Mhm.
don't work out that much anymore. I remember, in the day I'd go to the morning, step class, and at night
Right.
you go to this class. Now I'm like, oh fuck, I don't even want to get my yoga pants on. Like, I don't know. I guess I kind of watch what I eat. My biggest downfall is I love a glass of red wine every night. And
Nothing wrong with that.
it's not, but I'd lose that extra 8 pounds if I stop that. And it's so funny because on the road, when I danced for 10 years, in
Mhm.
clubs, I was on point. I never touched a drug or a drop of alcohol because I knew I had to stay laser focused. Now,
Right.
56, I'm like, oh, I want a glass or two every night. Like I've earned the right at this point.
Absolutely. I was just gonna say, you've earned the right to do what the hell you want. I mean, and that is what I do love about, I mean, life after 50, 55 was amazing. I'm about to turn 56, but I don't know about you, but the 50s have been like the best years of my life, I think, just sexually. And kids are all grown and out of the house now, don't have to worry about that. And so it's like a whole new world. You're right.
Every decade, 20s, I was learning about myself. I was
Mhm.
insecure. I didn't know who I was or where I fit in, except I knew I fit in porn. But like 20s were probably the roughest because I was just trying to figure out who I was
Right.
and what turned me on. And oh my God, if I'm too loud in bed, is the guy going to get turned off? And that kind of thing.
Yes.
50s is where I was like, fuck you, world. I got it, And then 40s was when I really became more, believe it or not, even though I made porn, in my 40s is where I really fine tuned my sex in a way. Like,
Mhm.
I really started to be like, this is what I want. If you don't want it, there's the door. Like, I was more aggressive in my 40s.
You found your power. You found your power.
Exactly, exactly. And then 50s, I'm like you. I'm like, I know what I want. I have
Mhm.
no time for BS. You're either on my team or you're not. And I don't
Right.
really give a fuck if you're not on. I'm in that 50s is where you just don't give a fuck as long as I'm
Yep.
happy. And I sure hope you're happy. But if you're not, this is what you see is what you get. Take it or leave it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and so you lead right into one of my questions. Knowing what you do now, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? What advice would you have given yourself?
God, what advice would I have given myself? Obviously, as my dad used to say, hindsight is 2020. You know, it's so geeky. When you get older, you start saying what your parents used to say.
For sure.
um, just enjoy the ride. You know, don't push anything. Let it happen organically. But I'm not like, rose-colored glasses. I don't look back and regret one thing and go like, oh, I should have done this, or oh, I should have, I don't look back and have any regrets. Like people go, oh, you were always a Vivid girl. You always worked for other companies. Do you wish you would have started your own company? No, I didn't. I just went there to have great sex.
Right.
I didn't want to worry about distribution. I didn't want to worry about, oh, it's been 60 days. This guy hasn't paid for his 10,000 DVD. Like, I just wanted to go and be free and have a good time. So
Right.
I don't know what I would have told myself because I don't have any regrets.
That's awesome.
I don't look back and go, I should have done it this way. I did it my way and it worked out beautifully.
And I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason too. So always, I know for me, if I'm trying to accomplish something or work towards something and it is so damn hard, like I'm just hitting a wall every time I turn around and nothing's working out, I'm big into energy and energy healing, that kind of thing. Then I just know it's not meant to be. If it's got to be so hard to attain, sometimes it's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I love that you have no regrets. That's amazing.
Yeah, none at all. And I get it too, like in relationships. If you just can't figure it out and get it together, just get out. They aren't the right one, it's just not the right one for you. And you get to that age where I have no time for games, bullshit, any of that stuff. And it's a really powerful place to be.
Yes, it is. That is one thing I really liked about, my age, I think, and just been around the block a few times. It is, I'm very open. Pretty much everybody in my life knows what I do. Some have chosen not to be in my life because of that. And it's like, I'm okay with that. Like, either you love me for who I am or I don't need you, and it's kind of nice to get to that point because I spent all my former life worrying what everybody else thought, that kind of thing. And so I think that's powerful. So what do you do to stay horny? I know for me, mature women, we have hormone issues. We may have gone through menopause, but what's your secret?
Thankfully I'm not even on hormones of any sort. I went through the change. Didn't notice a thing. My thing now is I have to like you. Like my thing now is I don't need lube unless you want to fuck my tits because they don't sell lube. I don't need lube. Like I've never in the last 10 years, I've never had to use lube unless again, it was for something like tit fucking. So my thing is, if my pussy's wet, I want to be with you.
Cool.
It's just, that's my indicator. And if I'm not turned on to somebody, I don't want to be with you. I have to be, at this stage, I have to not just be sexually attracted to you, but I have to also mentally be attracted to you.
I was just going to say, so does that play a big part for you? Is that emotional attraction? And it sounds like it does.
It does now. It didn't when I was 20. I'd be like, what's your name? At a club and you'd bend over in a bathroom. But now but in today's world, you do have to be a little more careful.
Right.
Only because it's not as clean as it used to be,
Right.
It's different out there. It's a whole different game in this year, in the 2000s. We're not in the 80s. We're not in the 90s. You have to know and be a little more picky than I was, at least in my 20s, 30s, and even till about 45. And then monkeypox, who the fuck would have even, so I'm just saying, you have to be a little more choosy now. You can't,
Yep.
and yet luckily I'm like you, God knows I was around that block a million times and very
Yeah.
lucky, and it was very safe, and it was very,
Mhm.
very loving. Now you just have to be a little more careful.
Yeah. It's funny because my partner and I have been in the swing lifestyle for about 14 years. But once we kind of got into the adult industry, it's funny because my desire for the swinging lifestyle really kind of got squashed because it's like, now, if I'm going to fuck you, you need to be tested, regardless if you're wrapping your tool or not. I want to film it. I'm going to make money off of it. And so it's so funny because we joke that really getting in the adult industry really ruined our swing lifestyle.
I got it. So, I used to have a neighbor, and we used to go to swing parties like once a month, and we were just fuck buddies. And it was weird. For years we would go, and it was so much fun. Everyone wore condoms, which I grew up not using condoms. I mean, but after the pandemic hit, that just kind of fell apart. It was weird. But again, I had a great 8 years of doing it, and it was so much fun. But I don't miss it. Just like I
Yeah.
don't miss being on set every day. I did it. I milked it. I enjoyed it. And now it's like, okay, now what? Now let's go to the next thing. It's not the
Right.
kind of thing that I'd want to do every day till I'm 95 years old, but it was great
Yeah.
and it was fun. But it was like, obviously during the pandemic, everything got shut down, even though they were private clubs to begin with. But everyone was like, oh my God, the sky's falling. And I don't blame them, because that's how we all felt. But
Right.
swing clubs were so much fun. Oh my God. They were so much fun. And I'd go with my friend, and we had rules like, okay, you don't leave my side. I don't care if you're at the other end of the room, but we always have to have contact, that kind of thing. But it's just all been fun. Every stage, every cycle. It's constant. Every couple of years it changes. It just has to, or life gets boring.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, what is your ideal sexual partner? What kind of guy gets your motor running, Christy?
I've never had a type. I've never had a type. I'm short, tall, fat, thin. Thin, I don't like. I was married to a really thin guy, and I always felt like I had to compete with him. I don't have a
Yeah.
type, but it's somebody that now, because I don't go to swing clubs, I don't go to nightclubs anymore. It's just, I did it since I was
Yeah.
15, and you had a good fake ID, and you tight Angora sweater, and no one cared how old you were. Now, like now I'm seeing a guy, and we love to go to dinner and then come home and have great sex and then just cuddle and watch movies. He's my age, watch movies from the 80s, all the John Hughes films. And, it's more of a very solid, calm, fun relationship.
So would you say as you've gotten older, do you prefer a more mature guy or do you like the younger ones?
Oh no, always, always. Even when I was, in high school, my boyfriend was 18 or not. I never liked the
Same.
younger guy for me, only because, um, eh, eh, you know, I always liked older men. And
Mhm.
then I was at a convention in New Jersey a few weeks ago, one of the Exoticas, and one of my
Yeah.
OnlyFans members was there, young guy, I call him the Cub on OnlyFans. And he kept saying, but I just want to come up and fuck you, Christy. I just want to come up and fuck you. And I said, this is why I don't date younger men. Who
Right.
says it to a girl? That's not, I just want to fuck you. You and everybody else wants to. Like, what else do you have to offer me? A, you're not coming up to fuck me. B, you're not coming up to fuck me. C, you're not coming up to fuck me. And this is why I like older men, because, and he's adorable and he's sweet, but it's that immaturity that I
Yeah.
don't like.
Mm-hmm.
They're eye candy. They're adorable. They could probably sustain longer. Not that I need sex for 2 hours, porn shoot. Give me a good solid 30 minutes and I'm good to go, I don't like the younger mentality sexually as much as I do a guy my age or within, 5-10 years of my
Right.
age. The
Right.
20s are beautiful, but they just need to mature just like I did at 20. Most people need to at 20. You need to find your ground. You need to find your voice.
Right.
don't be desperate. And then like, he's like, oh, now I know why you don't like me. I'm ugly. And I'm thinking, I'm fucking 56. What is like, it's so not what I want
Right.
to deal with. Like, and I said, oh, stop it, Cub. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
turn to a mature one. Maybe an 18-year-old thinks that's cute, but not a girl my age. I don't, go to therapy, figure it out. Like, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your
Right.
fucking pillow. Like, so I've never, back to your question, I love the Cubs to look at, but not to fuck, because there's always problems. They're just not
Right.
mature.
Right.
They're just not mature enough, just like I wasn't at that age. You just
Right.
have to mature into your, comfortable spot. Hopefully they'll get to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I like guys within my range.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot, it's funny. People ask me like, what is your fan base? And for me, I have like, it's like the middle is not there, but I have the two ends. So it's the 20 to 30, or it's like the 40 and up. It's like that 30 to 45. Um, they're still looking for the younger girls, I think. But so that's interesting. And it sounds like your fan base might kind of be in the Cubs, you got the Cubs and the mature guys who appreciate us like fine wine.
Yes, it's so true. I do have that 32. Like I have, because I've been around for 38
Yeah.
years. I've got a total assortment. My fan base, though, the least are the young kids. Like whenever I
Yeah.
go to the shows, the Exoticas or any of the conventions, AVN, I want that noon spot. I want a sign from
Yeah.
12 to 7. That's my demographic. Come 7
Mhm.
o'clock, they're young, there's a group of guys, they're a little drunk. That's not my demographic. Those really, yeah, I'll get salt and pepper with a few of them, but that's not my meat and potatoes of a fan base.
I love that analogy. That is awesome.
It's just how it is. Like comes, 7, 8 o'clock at one of the shows, I'm like, not my crowd, not my
Yeah.
group. Give me that good solid 12 o'clock when the doors open. The
Right.
collectors show up with their little wheelies of 5,000 things to sign, and that's my demographic. That earlier collector crowd.
I love it. Are you planning to go to AVN in January in Vegas
Yes, I'm going to DC next week for the
for
Exotica.
Exotica?
Uh,
Mhm.
are you going to be there? I'm going to be signing with Ginger Lynn and Kimmy Kaboom at Planetary Studios booth. I will be
Is
there.
that a Exotica or AVN?
AVN. AVN,
Yeah,
I'll be.
so I'll be at AVN as well.
Who are you signing for, or what booth?
So I haven't actually gotten that nailed down yet. So I'm in the process. Some emails are exchanging back and forth, but I will be at the Chatterbait booth. So I'll be streaming with Chatterbait. They did invite me to stream with them. So because largely I'm kind of a split 50-50 OnlyFans content creation and live cam model. That's how I got my start, was live cam model.
So
So
many have from camming. Like in the 90s, the girls got their start because they were house girls at strip clubs.
yes.
And as porn features would come in and they'd be like, oh my God, I want to become a. Now it's cam girls, because
Yes.
stripping is kind of, yeah, girls go out here and there for a night or two. Whereas in the 90s, you were there 6 days, 4 shows a day. I mean, it was beautiful. You take your Polaroids after. I mean, but again, stripping, it's just not what it used to be, because now guys could stay home and watch a girl on Chatterbait, on camming. You don't have to,
Right.
once again, get in your car, drive to the club, pay your cover charge, buy your 2 drinks. But no, I'll definitely be at AVN at
I
Planet.
can't wait to meet you. I hope I get to meet you in person.
I know, that's so amazing. Is your partner coming?
Yes. Yep. We will be there. It's our first AVN. So yeah, I mean, how can we not go? It's our first AVN.
So much fun. I love the conventions. I love the
So do
fans.
we.
There's like that 99.9% of the fans are amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very fortunate that, they're just great. They're great, my
That's
fans.
awesome. That is awesome. So, as we start to kind of wrap up, tell me, what do you have any new projects coming up? Anything that you're working on? Tell us what you've got in the works.
Like I was saying, it's always like OnlyFans is my number one. That's like, I release a new video every week, then sprinkle it in throughout the week with nude photos and live shows and VIP live shows. Do a lot of conventions, like every other month there's something.
Right.
But OnlyFans is really the mainstay. And then there was another site that just closed down, which is too bad, Sex Panther. That's a thing, like you just got to enjoy them while they're around because everything's got a shelf life. It will eventually,
yes.
Like I was on SiriusXM for 18 years. That one day with the whole cancel culture and, whatever, they got rid of anything adult themed on SiriusXM because you didn't want to offend people. So really right now I concentrate on OnlyFans and the conventions. I'm looking into starting like a many vids, but then my life is very full. Like I said, I'm seeing somebody. We travel every couple of weeks. We'll go, go away for a week or we'll go away for 3 weeks. Like I'm just kind of in this wonderful area now where I could work part-time, but then enjoy life. I've paid my dues.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping to work towards. What you have.
Well, I started when I was 18, but it's like, I don't need to hustle like I used to.
Right.
So I enjoy it. I mean, I sell stuff on eBay and on my sexy auctions. Like you pick from here and there and you do what you do. But then I'm at that wonderful, like, oh my God, I could take 2 weeks off if I want.
Yes. Yes. And it's good to have those multiple streams of income. Circling back to Sex Panther, that's hit me personally really hard. That was about 20% of my monthly income came from that. And with them going straight to app only, I have a lot of married guys and I have a lot of guys in relationships that, texting is a lot easier than if I have to have an app on my phone and she sees that or,
It's not, I don't like it anymore. And it's a shame because I'm like you, it was a nice little chunk of income.
Yeah.
And the app, I wake up, I turn my phone off every night. And I used to love to wake up and you'd hear bing, 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 bing. And you'd be like, oh, how are you, Jay? How are you this? How are, what are you doing today? So it's going to slowly die. It will, because the app it's just not as good as it used to be. And I don't sit there on my phone and check it every 10 minutes. Before you just notice someone texted you. It was beautiful. So I'll fill in that gap with something else. But you know what? Here's the beauty. I'll do it after the holidays. I don't want to worry about it right now. I don't want to worry about it right now. I want to enjoy my conventions. My best friend Ginger is turning 60 in 2 weeks. No. So, we're having a big party. Like, it's awesome. Christmas. Like, I just don't have time to worry about it right now. I'll deal with that after the first of the year, after AVN, after X3. So basically I'll get to it around, I don't know, Valentine's Day or something.
February. I just love your attitude. Oh my gosh. And your positivity and so amazing and refreshing because I'm still in the hustle mode. I didn't get into this business till I was 53. So I've got a lot of time to make up for.
Well, you came in at a good time with you owning your own content. Like this is the first time in my 38 years that I've seen women, talent, I should say, men too, talent, own their content. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And the girls are finally making a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like we made good money on the road dancing, we had that great income. I did very well at Vivid, getting royalties. But overall the talent is in charge of their stuff. The Vivid girls, we were in a whole different bubble than girls wrestling in the 90s. It's a good time. It's a good era for talent to make money in this business.
It is for sure. So with that being said, where can everyone find you? What's the best place to find you? And I'll also link it when this episode goes live.
Okay, perfect. My OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/Christy Canyon number 11. So Christy Canyon 11. That's also
Okay.
my Twitter handle.
Cool. Okay.
Christy
And then we
Canyon.
hope Twitter sticks around.
I hope it does. I love Twitter. I know it like the back of my hand. You know what? At this age, if I know something, I don't want to change it. I
Right.
I just want to wake up and know what I'm going to do. Again, like I have an Instagram, but I just have it to try and delete the fakes, but they never do. Like I have to say Twitter is amazing at deleting fakes.
Yeah.
Instagram, they're assholes. They'll send me like a notice. We found that Christy Canyon 0911 is not in violation. And I'm like, we're not in violation. They've stolen my photos. They've changed up my name ever so slightly. And if you go on their DMs, they're just bilking fans for money. I want to say I never ask fans for money. Oh, my dog's dying. Can I have 500? Like,
Right.
it's all a scam. And I love Twitter because they're responsible with fakes.
Yeah.
Instagram, not so much. I don't like them. So I hope Twitter stays around. I really do.
I do too. And I use Brandit Scan for that. And you can actually link the fake account and they will do the takedown with Instagram. Just an FYI.
You know what?
Yeah.
Email me that information.
I will. Yep. It's branditscan.com. I'll do a little plug for them.
Okay.
It's inexpensive. It's like $45 a month. And they have taken down so much stolen content. I can't even begin to tell you, but I'll also send that over. I'll email that to you.
Okay. Because I wrote it down brand, like a brand, scam.com.
Yep. Scan, SCAN.com.
See, I already messed it up. SCAN. Okay. But send it over just in case.
I will. And I'm going to link them in when this video goes live too. But I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me. It has been amazing. I cannot wait. I hope that I can meet you at AVN. I know I have a feeling AVN is going to be a little crazy, but I hope we can link up and at least
we definitely
each other.
Absolutely. You are so nice. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I'll see you in about a month.
Sounds great. You have an amazing holiday.
You too. You too. You're all dressed up for it. You've already got the red. You got the red pillow in the background. You're already prepared.
Thank you. All right, Christy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too. Bye-bye.